And now on BBC Radio 4, a selection of leftovers from the past couple of weeks at PNHQ. Rightio, change of video onto Prince Andrew, which is there. Prince Andrew, a car that I have so far owned for a couple of weeks, washed it once in the dark, and now before it goes dark again, which won't be that long off, let's wash it again a bit more properly this time. So, silver doesn't really show dirt, does it not? Well, I would say it does. That you can see is filthy. You can see there's no shine to the paint, it's just rather grotty. That's really the time to wash a car like this, because even though it doesn't look that dirty from a distance, it really is. It's not just about being clean, it's about the finishing touches. Looks good there. This is the back seat out of Prince Andrew, and it is from a hatchback, and although I've taken the metal backing off, it doesn't have the slots for the seatbelt thingies, and that means it leaves quite a big gap, which is unsightly. So I thought I'd try something else. Now I have to clean this, but what about the back seat out of the Rover 25? Gosh, it is a bit dirty, that, isn't it? Does this fit any better? There's a bigger gap there, but look, these come through, and that's fine. Let's clean it. It's a temporary measure and a different colour of black. Well, it certainly is when it's wet. Will it be when it's dry? Probably not too much, actually. Until I can get an appropriate rear seat from a Saloon 45, that will probably do. Doris and Daisy together at last in the same lockup. Twins separated by trim level, project drive and 3 years. So today is one of the coldest days so far. By Canadian or Finland or Russia standards, it's nothing, but for us Brits it's horrible. So, a solution. I am planning on spending a bit of time in the lockup today as I put some things away and do a bit of organising. That's just one thing. But as you can see, there's no car in here at the moment. That's because it's outside getting warmed up. And in a moment I'm going to bring it back in and use the engine as a radiator. I can tolerate a bit of cold, but this is just a bit much for me. Come on, Nigel, do your job. In the meantime, Toby Charles has been... cold has affected his battery. I had to use the jump start on it. However, after just a couple of minutes, there's plenty of heat coming through there. It's so cold at the moment, I daren't even go for a pee. One of my potential doings for the day was to give Toby Charles a good wash so it can go back in the lockup clean, less likely to have abrasive marks as anybody leans on it or puts stuff on it or what have you. But you'd have to be you'd have to be something that I'm not quite to want to wash a car in this cold. Good plan, hey? And you know what? It does actually work. Although I'm beginning to think I might have been better off warming up Toby Charles and bringing that in, because after all it's going to be coming back in again afterwards, and the steel block will probably give off more heat than the aluminium. And thinking about that, this doesn't actually feel that hot now, but the whole lockup does feel a lot warmer. 10 past 1, no more heat at all to come off of this engine. Oh, there is tiny little bit. What about the inside? Is there any heat in there? Not much. And what we'll also notice is, as I step out of the temporarily warmed up lockup into the outside, it's actually warmer out here now than it is in there. So what have I been doing all this time, eh? Hello! Who are you?
So I got on the corner of the yard where I can relieve myself.
Boaty's here because it is a Monday and he's brought his carrier bag, which looks like it's got a wheel trim in it, and his designer handbag as well. This image.
Have you charged the battery?
No.
Oh, brilliant, well done.
We all know that once Boaty turns up, work stops.
This.
That is quite odd actually, because you do, if I'm honest, remind me ever so slightly of Mr. Tickle. Wasn't expecting that. Chips!
Oh, my sausage is broken. And today, mustard and bunchard, tricky chaps words.
You can't even say your own name. Mustard and lung shot.
You're giving it posh names now, all it's lunch business and it's clearly dinner time.
Dinner time.
We're going to come on to the Northern Divide. Today we are doing lunch with Mark of the Mark on Motoring channel. And I'm very excited to do this one because there is a strong argument for saying that Mark on Motoring is the YouTuber's YouTuber. Well, we'll get on. Oh! I'll get the gate while you're busy doing it.
Hello and welcome to the yard, where at last the big freeze is over. A big freeze that lasted about 4 days and caused an awful lot of inconvenience for me. As you can see, the snow has mostly gone. We're just left with a slightly slippery floor everywhere. And the best thing about this is that I can finally have running water again. These pots are still just a bit on the frozen side, but with a bit of new water in there, maybe that ice will melt. And because, amongst other things, one thing that the snow has prevented me from being able to do was keep my little car looking nice. Not only has it been abused with scrap metal and all sorts of crap, but it's been left filthy as well because of no running water. And what I see currently now is the dirtiest little Nigel I have ever experienced. It is, isn't it? It's filthy. Filth, grot, shameful amounts of dirt. Yuck. Yesterday, one of the other kind of work lad type people was around just as I was on my way out the gate, and he looked at the car and said, "About time you put some red on that, isn't it?" I'll translate. It's about time you put some red on that, isn't it? Yeah. Oh gosh, we may have had the end of the freeze, but it's bitterly cold out here. Now, I was told that traffic film remover isn't particularly good for the paint. In this car, I don't want to take any chances, so I just put a little bit on just now, and I'm going to spray it off straight away. It's just at the bottom anyway. And then I'm going to rely more heavily on snow foam again. I'm going to say something that you might not quite expect here. As it's above freezing now, and I have access to water, I am now colder than I was the day before. And that's quite simply because now I have the opportunity to get wet. So my hands are all wet and freezing cold. But it's my choice to wash the car, and I don't regret it, and I won't. because Nigel deserves better. Not only that, it gives me a more specific purpose for being down here today, other than waiting for somebody to turn up to buy that car, because that was the only reason otherwise. And so far, nobody, and I don't even anticipate anybody turning up within the next hour now, because that's just how people are. You're used to seeing a car covered in suds and stuff, and then afterwards being cleaned. But the suds alone and the hose pipe won't really get the muck off. As you can see, it's still attached. And the problem with this is that oh shit, that sounded like it brought the bucket. Bollocks. Well, that's the end of my plan then, isn't it? You stupid icy bastard. Shit, I nearly slipped on my arse just then. Put my trainers back on and they just don't grip at all. As we can see, Nigel is quite clean now, because although I couldn't use the bucket, I could use something else. A new microfiber towel soaked in snow foam and just mopped around to get rid of the poo. Not poo, it's dirt. And now, the super wonderful and exciting task of getting the money out of my account, because I managed to get together with some scrap to go and pay the rent, so I can do it all over again. The only thing is I've run out of scrap to go and get rid of now. How many grey or black cars will go by before one of them stops and lets me out? Well, there's a blue car coming up. A blue car amongst the many. Not a very interesting blue car, followed by white and then black again, of course. It makes the roads a rather dull place. So there's a red car coming up. Maybe that one will let me out. No, it won't do. No, it's just being a selfish. More grey, and this is rather tedious. There should be some sort of rule about whoever got here first, I think, when it comes to junctions. I mean, I'm clearly here first. I've been here for a while, and oh, come on! Right, I'm going after this one, whatever the case. You can slow down for me. Thank you. More and more my videos seem to be into kind of rolling into bits of videos into one big stream of disconnected video thing. But what is today's video? What is it? I mean, what is that exactly? The rain has come and the snow has gone. So I washed the car and broke my bucket. What kind of a title can I give to this video? Oh, the other thing is, I've broken the bucket. That means I've got to buy another one. But I don't want to. Should I plastic weld it instead? Well, I would do. But the bit that I got off Temu doesn't fit on the end of my soldering iron. So I can't do that. Yeah, because I've got the plastic welding rods that would be perfect or something like that. It doesn't really matter what kind of job it looks like on the bottom or on the inside of the bucket. The purpose of the bucket is it doesn't let water out. And mine now does let water out. Oh, and if you fancy, I'll just tell you this, tomorrow is Sunday, and it's going to be a day of 2 Toms and a Boaty. Hey, that'd be a good title for the video. 2 Toms and a Boaty come into the yard to do different things. The 2 Toms don't know each other, and maybe never will, but they probably will a bit, and they may have even heard of each other. Wouldn't that be interesting? But to finish off this completely disjointed effort of a video, I am now going to bung on the bit of video from Monday that wasn't really a complete enough video to post by itself. So here we go. Bye bye for now.